Okay guys, I'm gonna cut this pine up. It's about 9 foot 4 long. I wanted to get at least 9 footers out of it. This is from our neighbor's tree that I cut down. I'll show you that clip right now. It's not a huge log. It's this yellow pine. It's about 17 inches on this end, and I think it's about 14 on the other end. So I should get a couple decent boards out of it. I'll probably just cut like 1x10s or 1x8s. I'm using them for decking for my son's tree fort that we're building out back. It's kind of cool to cut the trees down, bring them to the mill, and then use them in boards for projects around the house or projects in the woods. You'll notice I use the cant hook here to roll this, and I want to do kind of impromptu review. The cant hook was almost not even required for this log, it's so small. But this is a Woodchuck. So the Woodchuck, WoodChuckTool.com, and I'll put the pictures and link in the description. But made in the USA. I believe the guy is down in Pennsylvania that makes these, and it's 4 foot, I believe. We'll do it live. Yep, so the bar is actually 48 inches, 4 foot, and then it's got the point on the end, which is adjustable, and then this is all steel, aluminum. The rest of it's all aluminum, so it's light enough weight, but I mean, I've put a lot of torque on this thing. I used it to roll those the big oaks that I had. I had one oak that was over 11 feet long, 27 inches in diameter, so it was about 2,500 pounds. And just me, I was able to roll it on the tracks. Neighbors rolling by, and it had everything I had to get up under it. But I mean, everything I have, I wasn't able to bend this thing or even put a dent in it. But yeah, it's been a great tool. I bought this. I picked it up for about 120 bucks with tax at the same place, Greenville saw that I picked up my chainsaw. And it's been a great tool, and I'd like you guys to patronize this guy. I think he's just a guy that works out of his house and builds these things, and it's really a solid tool. So I like small companies and supporting kind of local, in the Northeast. But let's get milling on this log. So before I get milling, I wanted to show you guys real quick just kind of the daily procedure to get this thing going, and it's really pretty simple. The first thing you want to do is tension your blade. So this handle right here, as I said before, pull it up in the cam and everything, puts a nice amount of tension on that blade. You'll check that bushing. You can check out my last video to see that. So the wind's really picked up, but to give you the start procedure, I've tensioned the blade now. I'm going to bring the head up a little bit. Gotta go the right way. So it's up at 13.5 inches, which is a little bit smaller than the diameter of this log. Blade's been tensioned. I'm going to go ahead and turn my water on. The fuel's always on. There's no switch for that. I'm going to turn my water on about halfway, and the way I can check that is I just turn it on. You can start seeing it pouring out, and I can kind of control it to get the idea for the day of how much flow that's going to be. So a little less than 1/8 inch is more than enough. But on these pine logs, I probably want a little bit more just because I want to try to get that sap off the blade. I adjust my width on here on my cutter head, on my guide, and you adjust that throughout the day. But I'm just going to go ahead and rip off the first cant and or the first flitch, and go ahead and start making this log into a cant. So to fire this machine up, pretty simple. It's battery operated. Electric start. Pull the choke because I haven't started yet today. Fires right up. So I just let it run a little bit, kind of warm up, and I'll show you the engagement and how it throttles the machine up. So now that the machine's been running for a couple of minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you how to throttle up. So the blade's been tensioned. That's a most critical step. And here's your handle. You start to lower it down. The throttle's up. The blade starts to engage. And I like to let the blade run for about 20 seconds to kind of get it warmed up before I start cutting. And then to disengage, it's pretty simple. Go ahead and disengage it, and it comes to a stop. Got a little bend in it, so I'm going to take the first pass at it sideways. Roll it a little bit. Yeah, like that. I'm going to roll it, and I'm going to roll it again. Roll it and it stops. This cant hook just makes this like zero effort. Pretty much zero effort. That looks pretty decent right there. Alright, I think we can make a first pass at it. I'm not making anything super special, so I'm not really worried about grain, and if this log is level or it's pretty close by eye. I don't need to center up the pith or anything. We're not cutting quarter sawn wood. Okay guys, once we cut this cant into a 8-inch, I think by 8.5, yeah, 8 by 8 3/8, we're gonna go ahead and start to make it into dimensional lumber. For the play set, I'm not quite sure. Man, I love sap off a pine tree. For the play set, I'm not quite sure what size I need right now. So anything like a 2x6, 2x8, 4x4s. I can make this into 4x4s. I'll kind of figure that out here in a minute. Well guys, that about wraps it up. I did some, these are those 2 pine logs, this first pile right here. And the first one was about here. The second log was that guy right there. And you know, I was trying to actually cut the flint's flitches, I guess. Yeah, flitches? I don't know. I gotta look that up. The first cuts off the outside edge before I get to the cant. I was making those a little bit thicker. A, because I wanted to just have nice clean lumber, except for this one section here, obviously. But I wanted to have nice clean lumber. I'm going to throw it up at the my son's playhouse, up in the tree, his tree house. And I had a neighbor that came by and wanted all the cut off, so I made them kind of nicer for him, a little bit thicker, so he could make them into garden planters. If you treat pine, any kind of wood, with just some raw linseed oil, it'll actually survive, you know, saturated with water, you know, up against wet soil for, you know, upwards of 7 to 10 years is what I read. Haven't actually tried it yet, but I got raw linseed oil. I was treating some ash with it. I built an outdoor ash live edge bench for our daycare lady, and she really liked it. My wife did a little wood burning on it. It was a nice little gift. But I treated that with raw linseed oil, and it soaks right into the material, and doesn't leave any residue or any oily residue. It soaks right in really well, so it does a good job. But I think we got a pretty good amount of lumber for just a couple of little pine logs that I from that tree I cut down. Most of these are 1.5 by a true 9 inches, and then 1.5 by a true 8 inches, and then I got like a 2 by, like a true 2x4, and then some 1.5 by 3 inch. So I'm sure I'll be able to use these for the structure and probably for a little bit of handrail work, stuff like that. But I mean, just having all this raw lumber would cost you, you know, a couple $100 at the store, and I just cut it up, and realistically it only took me 20 minutes for both logs. It took a lot more time to actually record the video than it did to cut the lumber. So, well, thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, and I'll keep more content like this coming. Thanks.